talking to Aaron Nursey about his company, Direct Components Inc., which we'll be calling DCI, and the success he's had over the course of the last 24 years, but more specifically focusing on the success in the last 3 years, and how introducing a Florida CFO into the mix helped, and also taking the company through an implementation with the entrepreneurial operating system, which is captured in the book called Traction. So with that, we'll start. And Aaron, I thought I'd start with asking you to just talk a little bit about yourself and your family.
Sure. So Aaron Nursey, I am originally from Tampa Bay area, born and raised. I still live here with my beautiful wife Heidi and my son Caleb and my daughter Sierra. I came from very humble beginnings. At a young age, I actually went out and caught lizards and sold them to a pet store, and turtles and sold them to a pet store in order to earn money. I learned at a young age if I wanted anything nice, I had to work for it. It wasn't going to be given to me. I would also take a lawnmower and push it around and mow lawns in the area. So that's where I started my entrepreneurial journey. I started Direct Components in 1998, and I'm still the president and CEO of Direct Components today. I like to fish, boat. I also actually just became a DJ, so that's what I like to do in my spare time.
Oh, with all the DJ equipment and
Right.
all that. I was just at a wedding where someone had that as a hobby. That's pretty cool. So now let me puddle jump over and ask you to tell me what prompted you to seek out a seasoned CFO.
So we were actually starting out looking for a controller, and we realized that that wasn't going to be enough. We weren't looking just for reporting or someone to handle AR and AP internally. We actually had some people doing that before we looked for a CFO, and we had an external CPA. What we were looking for was somebody to be more strategic with us, to be able to make bigger decisions, forecasting, projecting, things like that. So we felt like we really needed something more than what we currently had to help us make these big decisions.
Okay.
And to continue our growth pattern.
So obviously you got introduced to the Florida CFO group, and through that you were introduced to Roddy.
Right.
Can you tell me what impacts you saw in the first 100 days after you got a seasoned CFO involved in the organization?
Well, I tell you, first of all, it was a huge relief. I felt like we were taking control of the company. We never really had a way to look at where we had been, where we were currently, and where we were going. So Roddy made it very easy for us to see all of those things and really know what the trajectory was of our growth. He comes with a huge knowledge of business, so he sat in on all of our strategic meetings and helped a lot with, again, making these big decisions to help this company continue to grow.
All right. So basically, he wasn't just finance; he was a key contributor to the overall leadership team of the company.
Absolutely, yes.
So, and if I've got my facts right, your growth rate over the last 3 years is 881%.
Sounds about right.
Which helped you guys get to the third fastest growing company in Tampa Bay by the Tampa Bay Business Journal. I still have to wonder who's 1 and 2. They must be small companies with a small base to start with, but it's just my opinion. So how have you and Roddy evolved the management of the company? As we were talking earlier, a lot of times you see companies that grow and it's more at a steady plane. A lot of companies strategically will say they're going to have a hockey stick, but that very infrequently actually occurs, and it did with you. So how have you managed through that hockey stick that is projected to continue for the foreseeable future? So
in September of 2021, I hired Roddy to be our full-time CFO/COO. And we have the EOS program, the Traction model that we all work on here. And so I'm the visionary and he's the integrator. So we started right away with having this great relationship. We actually call ourselves the dynamic duo. We work very well together, and I come up with casting the vision and he works on implementing my vision. It's been a great relationship. As far as how we manage that, I feel like since we have such a great relationship just off the beginning, since we met, that we've just been able to work so well together, and knowing my understanding and industry knowledge of this business and of his knowledge of business and other industries that he's been in. That's just like a perfect marriage.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about the industry. I mean, I know you source hard to find components or chips for older equipment, and everyone is aware currently about the chip shortage that's been, talked about in the press so frequently. So how has that impacted, so you would think someone in this business would have slower growth because of the issues with chips. So how has that worked out for you?
Right. So we're an independent stocking distributor. Mainly the way that it works, our OEMs that are building circuit boards will go to two different markets. They either go to the primary market, which is an authorized franchise distributor. They go to them and they wait a lead time, and when the parts are ready, they get shipped to them. And that is by far the easiest, cleanest way to get parts, and that's the way it's been for many years. What we mainly worked in were obsolete parts. So once they stop making the parts, there is no lead time. They can only go to a company like ours to go find them in the open market. What happened in the past couple of years with the chip shortage, with COVID, all these shutdowns, has made it to where we're actually sourcing parts that are still manufactured. They're not obsolete. They just have a very long lead time. So for instance, an OEM goes to an authorized franchise distributor to get a quote, and they tell them it's going to be 50 weeks to get the parts. And there's no way they can wait an entire year to get these parts. Mm-hmm. So then they come to Direct Components, and we go to our sources in the open market or the secondary market and find these parts for them so they don't have to wait the lead time.
Okay. So do you believe that contributed to the exponential growth, the 881%?
I would imagine it did, but I also think we were in the right position to be able to handle that. So yeah. I feel like if we were not set up the way we were when that came, we would have done better, but not nearly as well as we did based on having our, everything together at that time.
So what do you think you did that enabled you to be at the right place strategically when the opportunity presented itself? What were some of the things you think you laid down foundationally?
So in 2019, we were on the corner of Gandy and West Shore in South Tampa, about 2,400 square feet. We had about 20 people total in the company. I signed a lease for the building that we're currently in now, and we moved in right before COVID hit in 2020. Once a couple weeks had gone by and people started coming back into the office, we started on a rapid growth model of hiring. We made sure that we hired educated people that wanted to come to work. We built a very special culture of like-minded individuals. I made big decisions as far as hiring Roddy. Just really everything just kind of aligning and falling into the right place. Mm-hmm. But a big part of it was hiring salespeople, hiring new people for leadership, getting all of the different departments set up. We also came up with a set of core values for the company that everyone adheres to and everyone buys into, and that's been a big part of our growth as well.
You're talking about the core values. Can we go a little bit more in depth and give me an example what your core values are?
So it's an acronym for direct, dependable, integrity, respect, excellence, commitment, and teamwork. And so these are our 6 pillars. They're very special to the organization. Whenever we make decisions, whether it be to hire someone, promote someone internally, but externally as well. So when we're reaching out to clients or trying to make a decision on how to move forward with a deal, we're constantly thinking about these core values. They're very special to us. Okay.
Did you have them prior to implementing EOS, or did you develop them while you were implementing
We developed them as we were implementing EOS.
Yep. So you use them in your people analyzer
yes.
and everything like
Correct.
that. So now, was Roddy one of the examples of having the right person in the right seat that's
Absolutely.
so advocated
yes.
throughout the program?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very good example.
All right. So I'm going to go backwards a little bit
Sure.
too and ask you, what were if you can remember back to the first 100 days that Roddy was here, what was when was it that you just knew that you had gotten the seasoned CFO that you needed, and what were some of the biggest impacts he made in that 100 days, the
Sure.
first 100 days?
So I had never worked with a CFO previously. We did not even have a controller here. All the business that we did was ran through a CPA. Like I said, we had an accounts receivable and accounts payable person here, and that was it. So once I had someone that really understood accounting and finance and also was a strategic growth partner, it was like night and day to talk to somebody like that. He comes with a wealth of business knowledge that I really just learned a lot from him just being around him. I would have to say though, one of the biggest things that he made an impact on those first 100 days was to restructure our comp plan. So our comp plan was outdated. It was not in a good position for the company to continue to grow, and it was not the right plan to continue to attract new talent. So once we went through and we revamped that commission plan, restructured it, it made a huge difference for the people that we were hiring and also for the company. So it made it fair for both.
Yeah, and you know, that's a good example. A lot of times people, when they think about finance professionals or CFOs, they think they're really focused on expenses or on just the bottom line. But there's many ways that a truly seasoned CFO can help you with the top line.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah.
And I didn't realize that when he came on. I really thought it was going to all be about finding ways to, save money here or save money there, but it really wasn't about that. That was part of it, but that was just a very small part of what he looked at. He was more into how do we continue to keep this company growing, not just how do we get, your expenses down. So.
Yeah. Well, I chuckle because one of my client companies where I'm a fractional CFO, just the other day I said, you're not spending this money, it's a training budget and you need to do it. They have professional staff, you need to get them trained because our industry is evolving. And one of the people said, I've never heard a finance person tell me to spend the money. But there again, a good seasoned CFO knows there's times when you need to spend it, there's times maybe when you shouldn't.
Right.
So it's good to hear that.
Well, that's where I think that the forecasting came in and being able to actually see projections and know what's coming up allowed us to make those big financial decisions of whether we should spend the money here or spend the money there or not spend it, and we were able to make those decisions.
And just recently too, you expanded your footprint here in your current office, correct?
Right. Yeah, we went from 11,000 square feet to almost 20,000 square feet, so that was a big addition.
Oh yeah. And you have what, about 100 employees here?
Close. 87 as of today.
Okay.
Right.
And growing.
And growing.
And growing.
We'll
and
be,
room
we'll be
for
over
how
100
many?
soon. If we double stack them, maybe 250. But yeah, just kidding. We'll build a mezzanine level, so we have a second floor. I'd say we could probably handle about 120.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll take you at least till the end of this year or next year, huh?
Yeah, we'll see.
Another question for you. Since you implemented EOS, again, traction, in 2020, what's the most significant change it prompted you to make?
Really, I think hiring the CFO. I mean, that was something that we really did not have in our plan. That was one of the rocks, which a rock, as you know, is a goal for that quarter, and it was to get someone to help us take over the accounting side of direct components. Part of that rock and the way it was written was to find someone to take over and manage the accounting department, but we really needed more than that. Like I said, we started out looking for a controller. I realized that was not going to be enough. We really needed somebody that was more of a strategic partner, but I do feel like that was one of the biggest things that has come out of having that EOS model, was that we identified the fact that we needed somebody strong in that position.
And then your EOS implementer helped you.
Right, that worked out perfect.
Yeah,
right.
And that's Jonathan Bowman.
Jonathan Bowman,
yes,
right.
Who I know very well.
Yep. Great guy.
Great guy. He also bike rides, by the way.
Oh, nice.
What sets DCI apart from your competitors?
Well, first and foremost, I will say that we have a very special culture here. We have like-minded individuals that are intelligent, that actually like to come to work. We try to get the right people in the right seat. We make sure that they're following the core values and that they're a culture fit before we hire them. We spend a lot of money and time and resources on onboarding and training and making sure that they're getting it and that they still want it and they have the capacity to handle the job that they're given. Also, we're an AS 9120 certified supplier, which is one of the highest certifications you can get as an independent stocking distributor. We also have a lab in-house. So all of our orders go through a strict process of quality control to ensure that the parts are authentic and not substandard before we ship them to our customers, which makes a big difference than some of our competition that doesn't have the same technology or process in place. They kind of just wing it, and we have the ability to ensure that what we're shipping is good and that the client's going to be happy. So that makes a big difference. I think that's how it sets us apart from the competition.
Okay. Now, does a lot of the parts originally get manufactured in Taiwan or China?
Yes.
So you have a lot of the knockoffs over there that you're policing.
Exactly.
In essence.
Right. Well, now that there's a chip shortage, a lot of these companies that were in the business of manufacturing counterfeits have escalated their business because there's a lot of people needing stuff at this time, so they see that there's a right market for that. So we have to be on high alert to ensure that the chips that we get in are authentic and that we're selling them a good product and they're not going to have any issues when they're manufacturing their circuit boards.
Got it. Totally understand that. So I'm going to puddle jump again here and say, what advice would you offer other CEOs or senior executives from what you've experienced
Right.
with TCI?
So I would absolutely say that they should look into an EOS program, extraction model. I think that's extremely important. That helped us with this rapid growth. I would also say to be very honest and transparent and open with your employees, also with your clients, and just take very good care of them, because it is really difficult to go out and try to hire someone and replace someone else. It's always better to continue to be very open, honest, upfront, and do everything you can to retain the talent that you have and the clients that you're currently working with. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And that I totally agree with you there. And then last of all, I want to talk about your different hat as the head or the founder of the Nursey Foundation.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that, what you're trying to do with it. I understand it's relatively new, and where you see it going.
Sure. So we launched the Nursey Foundation in July of 2022, just a couple months ago. Myself, my wife Heidi, our business partners, Roddy and Roddy Premsukh, are the board members of the Nursey Foundation. Basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to partner with local nonprofits that are already established, and we're trying to help them not only financially, but also with strategic planning. So we have a list of strategic services that we could offer to them. So for instance, if we find someone that's already been doing this for a while and we can give them some cash, but also help them with a plan to grow, as I've done with direct components, or as Roddy has done with the many businesses he's been in. Also, Nandy has been in the corporate world for 25 years. Together with our corporate experience, we can come up with a way to be able to help them get bigger and better and service and help more people. So that's the model that we're looking at now.
Oh, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
So I think my last question is there a question I haven't asked you that you wish I would have?
Not really.
Not
No,
really?
I mean, I think those are great questions. I hope this has been helpful for you.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of spotlights how a founder such as yourself, you go out and you find the resources that you need. One with you was EOS, and then that helped identify the need for a seasoned CFO who you found through the Florida CFO group.
Right.
So that it's just a great story, and I can't wait to see what your growth rate is for the next 3 years. Are you trying to exceed the 881%?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for introducing Roddy. That has just been a lifesaver. I really think that we would not be in the same position that we're in now had we not hired him. I don't even know if we would have grown half the amount. So it's made a tremendous impact on the bottom line, not only business-wise, but also personal-wise. He's like a brother to me now. So it's been amazing that you guys referred us, and I can't thank you enough.
Oh, great. Thank you. And that's one of the reasons the Florida CFO group does what we do. We like to provide the talent to the smaller entrepreneurial clients, which you won't be able to call yourself much longer.
Right, we're getting there.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.